The other guides I want to talk about are the ruler guides. You'll notice that I have visible at the top of my page a ruler, and also on the left-hand side I have a ruler visible. The first thing I'll say is that mine is currently delineated in inches. I feel most comfortable working in inches. Depending on your background, you may feel more comfortable working with a metric system, or if you've been in the graphic design world for a long time, you may want to work with something like picas. If you're working in the web world, you may want to work with pixels. Those can be set by going up to the Edit menu, Preferences, and selecting Units and Increments. And there you can set your ruler units, which will apply to other things such as creating a new document. So right now, because I have my horizontal and my vertical options set to inches, that means that my work is showing up in inches. I'm going to click OK to get out of here. If you're on a Mac, you'll find that Preferences menu under the InDesign menu rather than under the Edit menu. So now that I have my preferences and my ruler set, I can start building guides from my rulers. If you don't currently see the rulers, you'll want to go up to the View menu. And where I right now have Hide Rulers, which will make my rulers go away, I want to go up to View, Show Rulers. And that will make the rulers visible. Now the neat thing with the rulers is if I click on that ruler and drag downward, I will get a guideline that I can place at any point along either the horizontal or the vertical scale. So if I want a horizontal rule, I need to click on that top ruler and drag downwards. If I drag outside my page, that rule will extend all the way across the pasteboard. If I drag, however, just over my document, that rule will apply just to the document itself. The other thing is that those rules are movable. When they're that light blue shade, that means they're not highlighted or selected. If I click on them, you can see that they turn a different shade of blue. That means it is selected. And if I grab it and move it with the selection tool, I can change the positioning of that rule. The other thing is that when I have it highlighted, I can actually go up to my X and Y coordinates, which are shorthand for the positioning on the rulers themselves. So the Y coordinate refers to the position on the vertical ruler, and the X coordinate refers to the position on the horizontal ruler. So if I want this to be at exactly 1 inch, with my ruler guide highlighted, I can go up to that Y box, enter a value of 1 inch, and it will automatically jump my line. That was a little hard to see because I was pretty close to the 1 inch anyway, so I'll do it again and I'll enter 2 inches, if I can highlight it there. Enter 2 inches, and when I hit enter, you can see that the line just jumped exactly to that 2-inch marking. So that helps you to set the guides really precisely. And then what I can do is I can take my objects and I can snap them to the guides so they'll fall to exactly that position. Now the ruler guides can also be turned on and off with that same Control semicolon command, or on a Mac that would be Command semicolon. The other thing I can do is I can go up to this View Options menu in my menu and application bar, and if I click on that, it allows me to turn on and off some of the different guides. So the Smart Guides are considered separately from all of the other guides. The ruler guides, the column guides, the margins, the bleed, the slug are all considered just to be guides. Those are turned on and off with that Guides selection. So right now it's checked, that means they're visible. If I click on that to uncheck it, they'll become invisible. The other thing to note with ruler guides is that they can be locked in place so that I can't accidentally move them. In order to do that, if I go up to the View menu, Grids and Guide, and tell it to lock my guides, then I can lock those guides in place, and that will prevent me from accidentally clicking on them and moving them. The other thing is I want to make sure if I'm using those guides that Snap to Guides is checked. That means when I bring an object or a frame close to those ruler guides, it will automatically click to the guide as though it was a magnet or something like that. It's like a little magnet action that clicks the object to that guide. Finally, the other thing I'll mention about the rulers is that you can set the 0 point of the rulers wherever you want it. In order to do that, instead of clicking and dragging from the actual rulers, I go up to this little X in the left-hand corner. And I can grab that and drag it over my document. As I do that, for example, if I were to select the right-hand corner of my document, it will shift the position where the ruler starts to the right-hand side of my document. You can see the 0 point is now at the right-hand side of my document rather than the left-hand side, and that the ruler starts counting both to the right and to the left. So once I do that, if I were to enter X and Y coordinates, in order to place something on my page, I would have a negative coordinate up here at the top because I'm counting backwards from that 0 point. In order to reset that 0 point back to my original position, I want to click in that corner and drag it to the corner where I want the 0 position to start, which now is in the top left-hand corner of my document. That's the typical positioning, and that's where I feel most comfortable leaving it, so I don't move that around too much. But just to let you know, if you want to work from the center of the page or the right-hand side of the page, you can reset that 0 point to wherever feels most comfortable for you. Sometimes if you're working in a spread and you want to make sure that things are evenly placed from the center of the spread, it can be helpful to place that 0 point at the center of the spread so that whatever goes on the left-hand page is a negative reflection of what goes on the right-hand page, by which I mean to say if I have something at positive 3 inches on the right-hand page, I can set it at negative 3 inches on the left-hand page, and they'll be exactly aligned on the facing pages.